All right. Okay. So here we are gonna do a little battle report. We released a list reveal video last week between me and Mike. 2,000 points. Wood Elves v Chaos. Um, Mike is joining us here, and Alex didn't play, but I'm sure we'll have insights on it as well. But this is how deployment ended. I won the role to pick sides. I finished deploying first, but then I lost the roll off to go first. So this is how the battle started. Mike, as it's your first turn, how did you feel once deployment was finished?
Um, I was pretty scared about all the shooting, but there's really only one thing to do for chaos and just move everything up. Try and get into combat before you could kill stuff was the plan.
Were you happy with like where stuff was aligned?
Apart from those marauders, everything is
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So just to go through it, you got chosen knights on the screen right flank, chariot, block of marauders, uh, sorcerer lord in between, a block of chaos warriors. These are the chosen warriors. This is your chaos lord. This is the normal chaos warriors with the champion in it, and these are the marauder horsemen on the flank in a straight line, as you'd imagine chaos would deploy. Um, for the Wood Elf deployment from right to left again, Deepwood Scouts with Arcane Bodkins over here, Treekin, Glade Guard, Treemen Ancient in the middle, Treeman just to the left, Dryads at the front of these guys, Glade, Great Eagle behind them, BSB on Stag there, then Glade Riders with the Spellweaver in there. Up here is the Way Watchers, and the Waystalker. No, the Waystalker's there, and then the Deepwood Scouts with Hagbane tips are there. I was like I was pretty happy with deployment, because I was planning to kind of sacrifice a flank, try and clear the other flank, um, and then move into that flank. What I kind of misjudged was how hard it is to kill a Chaos champion and general. The general I was never expecting to kill, but the Chaos champion we'll see later. He took like 30 shots on turn four and just like shrugged them off. But like all in all, I think no one really won deployment as such. There wasn't any like standout, like, oh, they're screwed here. It's going to be hard to get out of that corner. Maybe I barreled too far into one corner, but my turn one, I was happy with the result. So we'll see what happens there. Um, but turn one, Mike, do you want to explain what happens here?
Um, yeah, so I declared a charge, didn't I? Yeah, I
Yeah.
declared a charge with the Chaos Lord and the unit of knights with the character Exalted Champion in it
Mhm.
on those Way Watchers. Um, I sort of forgot that they had that Fire and Flee plus Feigned Flight. So this is a bit of a blunder. I probably should have just marched them up nice and close to them. Um, but then Paddy, you decided to fire and flee.
Yeah, I phone fled. They have Swiftshiver shards, so they have two shots. I rolled pretty well, and that was the result. So not even on my turn, I kill the four Chaos Knights. I didn't obviously touch the champion, but I fled like 4 inches or something. But I think on my rolls to wound, I rolled three sixes and a five. Armor Bane really helps. The Armor Bane on the Wood Elf arrows is very nice. It's
Uh,
often hard to wound stuff anyway. So when you're wounding, there's a generally like a 50-50, if not 33% chance to get the Armor Bane, which is kind of nice. But um, yeah, I think you said at this point, what have I
yeah,
done?
I
Declared
failed all
everything.
my saves. That was like 136 points or something, and it was still my turn one. So I was feeling, yeah, this really shook my confidence. I thought I was going to have a terrible game.
Yeah, and
Um,
I
I was
finally
very
got to
impressed with the Way Watchers.
Yeah, I was as a whole, and they at least they my previous game with Alex, I didn't get to feel the power of wood elf shooting, and I felt it on not even my turn. It's legit when it happens. It's just making it happen. But um, yeah, that was like the standout moment of your turn, and we'll go to how you finished your turn one. Obviously, chaos. There's a lot of movement, not a lot else, but just
Yeah.
maybe walk through what happened here.
I just marched everything up. I'm pretty sure I marched the Marauder horsemen, so they didn't shoot. But just tried to get them as close as I can to guarantee a charge next turn. And I just marched everything up. The Marauder block of infantry didn't have many lanes to go through, and I was planning of just getting him behind that lower linear obstacle. So I just marched him straight through this dangerous terrain and braved all the dangerous terrain saves, um, which killed what
Four of
four,
them. Yeah.
um, which it was probably pretty stupid, but a bit of fun. Um, yeah, I guess the only other thing about deployment is that you were really stacked on that left side, and I had my Chaos Chosen Knights all the way on that right flank with only one target. So yeah, I was hoping I'd be able to get them um, through on that right flank and then come back around and get everything else in the flank on that left side as well eventually. But yeah, basically just moving up. Used Arcane Urgency on the Chaos Warriors as well
Yeah.
to move them up an extra march.
So that was how turn one finished. This is how turn one Wood Elves finished. So obviously on the left flank now, there's all the Marauder horsemen are dead. Um, I fired the Deepwood Scouts on the far left, the Way Watchers just next to them, and I think the Waystalker and also the BSB. I tried to cast Fireball with my Ruby Ring of Ruin. It didn't go off. I think I rolled a 3 or something, so it didn't work. But regardless, I killed 8 of them. At this point, I feel like I cleared the left flank. So I was pretty pumped about that. But just to go through the movement, which kind of determines the rest of the game, uh, kind of meaningless, but from right to left, the scouts just move back just to avoid a charge, or at least get into a fire and flee range to try and bait the charge. The Treekin just kind of faced up to pick up to eventually get in contact with the chariot or chosen whatever he attacks with first. Glade Guard didn't move. Eagle, I'm not a very good Eagle player. I'm still figuring out how to use them. So I was just kind of using it to help support this right side if necessary. Treemen just kind of moved up into firing range with their Strangleroots. BSB also just kind of hanging out, seeing where he needs to help out. Where I stuffed up, I cast travel mystical pathways on my Waystalker to teleport him over there, forgetting that the chaos champion was now skirmished, being out of his unit. So that was my first mistake. Second mistake, I marched these dryads up. I think I marched them the full distance, which was intentional because the whole point of them was to get into combat, challenge the champion, and then hold him there for 2 to 3 turns. Where I made the mistake was because I thought I won this left flank. I moved my Glade Riders over to the right to try and start using Oaken Stave for the Dispel range on this sorcerer. But what I did was bring them too close to the Dryads, which screws me in the end. But at this point, not realizing my stupidity, I thought everything was going well and my strategy was working, but then it all kind of falls apart. From here to this mic is where you had charged my Waystalkers. You'd killed. First of all, my stupid Waystalker was over there. You declared a charge. I fled. Actually, no. First you declare the charge on the way watchers.
Hmm.
I flee with them. I fire and flee with them, and I miss all my shots. I know they do 2 wounds actually to
Hmm.
him.
Yeah, he
Um,
had one
he had
wound.
one wound left at this stage of the game. But then they flee and they pop through there. My dryads hang out there just waiting to get charged by someone. Um, then you charge my Waystalker. I can't fire and flee. I can only hold or flee because it was a redirect. He flees off the board. So that was
So when you're
that
saying
was fun.
redirect, like just looking at it, you can. So after, yeah, I guess because it's skirmishing, so you just could have redirected, could have charged in any direction after the
Yeah,
Yeah.
first one. Yeah.
which was yeah,
All
like
right.
I didn't even need to have my guy up there. I just forgot that he was now a skirmisher because he wasn't in a unit.
So in the end, it actually helped a tiny bit that those that he killed all the Chaos Knights in that unit because then he became skirmish.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, so Mike declares the charge here. They flee. He redirects into the Waystalker. He flees off the board. Then he had also declared the charge with the Chaos Lord. He gets to redirect also. No, he pursues
Yeah.
because he can't actually see these guys. He pursues and then he hits the Dryads. Um, the combat ensues. The nymph gets annihilated as intended, and then they fall back in good order through my guys. I think I needed to roll under a 4. I didn't set it up that I wanted to roll under a 4, but I had to roll under a 4 to get lucky. I didn't. They popped through. He pursued, hits my Glade Rider unit. So at this
Over.
point,
Yeah.
Michael, how are you feeling after turn 1?
I honestly thought I was pretty done for after you killed those knights and all the Chaos Marauders. I was like, the shooting is insane. All the trees was really bogged down for movement. The terrain really felt it this game because yeah, it's hard to get charges off with taking the low dice and just -1 movement that whole side pretty much. But yeah, that overrun, like I wasn't even planning it. It was just really lucky for me and unlucky for Paddy, I guess, the way he'd positioned it. But I now had his wizard in combat with my beefiest unit, um, which I was pretty sure was going to survive, and now he couldn't dispel any of my spells or cast any of his spells. And those Glade Guard are really weak. Their whole point is to go around and reserve move, not get into combat. So yeah, I was feeling good at this point.
As you can see at the top of the screen, like stuff moves around. There's not a whole lot of important stuff going on there. The
Yeah, I didn't
chosen
charge. I didn't charge those
the
scouts on the other side because they were going to fire and flee. So I just marched right up in front of their face, thinking, "Oh, guarantee a charge next turn. There's no way they can get out of the way because I'm right up in their face," which was wrong because they just got out of the way.
Yeah, I think there's a photo later to show that. But yeah, um, this is the hero play. So you can see the BSB sitting there was just like, I'll leave him there until I know what to do with him because he doesn't really have to do anything until he joins a combat. Um, the play was to charge the flank of the source of the Chaos General, issue a challenge, not die, so only take 2 wounds, and then I would have won the combat by 1 victory point. And then these guys would get free. He would follow up, die next turn, but these guys, the Glade Riders and the Sorcerer would be the Spellweaver would be able to move again. Alas, his heroism was denied. he took exactly 3 wounds, failing 3 4-up armor saves, actually 5-up armor saves. So I think it was combat was actually a tie, is what I'm pretty sure. So it was Oh no, you would have won because I don't get my flank charge and stuff. You ended up winning by 3 because you did 3 wounds and my BSB died.
Yeah.
So you win by 3 and my guys give fall back in good order. You follow up.
Yeah, that was again really lucky that I was able to kill that guy because he had a 2-up save. I'm pretty sure you had 4-up saves because I
No,
was -2 with the lance. But he had a great weapon or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So his
So
save went down to a
-1.
3 as base and then -2 for the lance.
Yeah.
But
You
I
should have
thought,
just used
yeah,
his hand weapon. He
I
might have
should have.
lived.
In
Yeah.
hindsight, yeah, he wasn't there to do wounds. He was there not to die. That was definitely a mistake. But yeah, frustrating nonetheless.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
he done.
so this is how that ended up. The stupid dryads got free, bloody dryads, and got to run around. At this point, I was kind of not all out of options, but I had to start doing something in the middle. So I just kind of postured up for them, the frenzied guys to charge. This guy, the Treemen Ancient, charged into the warrior block just because I wanted to test him out. I knew the Spellweaver wasn't getting out of there, and I wanted the Tree Weaver to do something. So I got him in there. But yeah, there's not a whole, I think this is end of turn 3, start of turn 3 or end of turn 3. But yeah, not a whole lot to report there. This, Mike, do you want to explain what this is? This is the aftermath of the Chosen charging the Tree Man.
Yeah, so the tree man did really well here. The Chaos Chosen charged the tree man, did maybe 2 wounds, I think. Then the tree man struck back and killed them all.
Yeah,
Uh, um, yeah, and then I just charged that Spirited Dirthu guy, but what's he called?
Treeman
Treemen
Ancient.
with the Chaos Warriors, and they won combat as well.
So the Tree Man, not the Ancient, so he killed off the Chosen Warriors and then turned around to try and help old mate Tree Man Ancient, got charged by the Chosen Knights, took 2 wounds, then killed the Chosen Knights. So like it was pretty solid.
An
I know
indictment.
Alex, yeah, in the last game he got torn apart by the Carnosaur, but with the right matchup, cavalry and infantry, not something with multiple wounds, is very, very solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got charged by the Chaos Chosen on foot and the Chaos Knights. He only did 2 wounds, and he killed all of them, which were my hardest hitting frenzied units as well. So
Mm.
he was the MVP.
At least for my side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this photo here is after the general has wiped the Spellweaver, ran off the board, came back, turned later, charged into the back of the Treeman Ancient, who is just slowly getting through the warriors. Yeah, you can see your sorcerer over in the background, not doing a whole lot. Didn't do much
Really?
for a lot of the game, I'd say, Mike. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, the Arcane Urgency was good. I think I did an illegal. I thought you could use it on the Chaos Chosen who had a failed charge because they had moved that movement phase, and just as it was written, I thought you could use it again on them because the charge phase is still in the movement phase. But Arcane Urgency is the best thing he did. The fireballs and the Pillar of Fire didn't do much. He had an Assailment spell as well and never got in combat. So, yeah, he didn't do that much. But the Chaos Lord was good. He made 1 saving throw the whole game with his 2 up, 5 up, 5 up save, and just got the first save. So he didn't even, the regen and the ward never even came into play.
Yeah, it's
I
interesting.
thought
I thought the BSB might hold up a bit better with all of its sort of defensive stuff, but
I feel like he should have. Like
yeah,
5s to hit, and Mike made 3 out of 5.
We were both
Um,
hitting each other on 5s, yeah.
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 Yeah, I had 6 attacks, but it was, yeah.
Um, this is how the board ended up. I just want to point out to the left, old mate, Exalted Champion. So he was everything in the backfield is obviously out of play, but he was over in this back left corner on 1 wound on turn 2. He ends up getting 2 rounds of fire against him. So roughly, I'd say like 30 shots. I think
Mm.
6 or 7 went to wound to armor saves, and he made all of them.
Yeah. And the
A
fire
couple.
and fleet, there were like 3 volleys or something, and I just made every save. I had like, and a lot of them were 4-ups as well because of the armor bane, and I just made every one, and he survived the whole game.
Yeah. This is how the board finishes up. Obviously, this bottom half. We've only got a couple of minutes left, but not a whole. We didn't show a lot of what happened on the right flank, but to be honest, it wasn't that interesting. You can see the Deepwood Scouts somehow survive after having chosen knights an inch away from them. What are your takeaways, Mike, just generally on the combat on the battle as a whole?
Well, yeah, I think the Wood Elves shooting is really good. Yeah, it's just mastering that movement so they stay out of those combats they don't want to be in. I think it'd be really powerful. And Chaos just did what they're supposed to do. The chariot charged those tree men, got heaps of impact wounds. Everything did pretty well in combat. But yeah, the maneuverability of Wood Elves is really the strength, I reckon.
Yeah, I feel like I did a slightly better job. This is my second game with Wood Elves. The toughness 3 and no armor just bites really hard when you make a mistake. Um, I made a massive mistake with the Spellweaver. But like even just looking at the board, I wasn't expecting to kill the general. I feel like I should have probably killed the champion.
Mm.
I'm kind of not that disappointed with how it ended up, considering how I had a list with 2 level 4s and one only got to cast spells for 1 turn. And he really shouldn't be caught in combat. So not all was lost, but this ended up being a good 400, 500 point victory, probably even more to Mike as I threw him a BSB. But definitely convincing enough. But yeah, that about does it for this battle report. Thank you for everyone who listens in, watches on. Any feedback is very welcome. So leave a comment or whatever. Reach out to us and we'll have another one for you shortly. Thanks, guys.